Alright, so for this week, I thought I would do a little bit of, I'm going to do some modeling around actually making something like this. Just some sneakers. Eventually, hopefully, I'm going to be able to make these to be used by the character. They're not the highest detail sneaker, but they look like a sneaker, so just some extra asses like that. And since I've been starting to get a bit of experience with this photogrammetry technique, and I do like it a lot. Um, so um, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a pair using this method. And so first of all, uh, I've already done the upload. And exported the OBJ file. So that's the step that takes quite a bit because depending on internet speeds and all that, um, it might take longer. So let me just hop into Blender. And I can quickly show you this first shoe, just so you can get an idea how they turn out. Of course, I took the label off, and so it doesn't. There's no obvious branding. Alright, so just gonna do a new, and I'm just gonna go ahead and import, if you excuse me for a second. Okay, so um, this is going to, I'm just going to import a wait for an object, and let's see how these ones look. So that's a pretty nice shape. I like those. And let's do some smooth shading. And first of all, what I want to do is do a little bit of cleanup around this. It's just way too much. I'm going to have to rotate them a little bit. Alright, let's try and position this. And let me turn my screen keys on just so if somebody's interested. There we go, like that. Hey, Vol. Um, just doing the stream. Um, Trying to make a shoe. um, all right, so that's pretty good for the high poly. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but um, now we want to do the low poly for this, and quickly I can just show you how it looks with the textures. So let me just see where my lamp is. It's not the lamp. There we go. So there's the shoe after um, you know photos were taken. Yeah, so I'm using this photogrammetry for I'm not using it for everything, but things that are like really hard to sculpt a high poly and texture it, uh, it's um, it's really useful. Like stuff like this, sculptures. Um, if I mean nowadays, um, games are using scanning to scan their characters, so they're just taking a random actor and they put him in this really nice high tech sphere looking thing with a bunch of lights and cameras, and they're taking a bunch of shots at the same time. So errors, as far as um, you know, for me, I just take a camera, or actually, this is my friend back home that took these photos, and just have the shoe put on the table, and go around it and take photos. So it's nothing high tech, but to do the work as far as the camera goes, I can actually find that out. I can ask my friend and see exactly the type of camera that he's using. I actually tried it the other day with like a 90 dollar Sony camera. Like something that's probably about 4 years old, and the problem was that I was trying to spin the shoe hanging off a shoelace, just to kind of see it, try different ways to do it, and only half of it came out. I mean, the other half got cut off, but as far as the textures and everything else, that half was pretty damn good. With a 80 $90 camera. So if your setup is really important, setup and lighting is really important. So he's using a Canon 1200D, and so that is not. I mean, it's definitely not the cheapest thing out there, but you can get one for $350, and you can get things like this. But I mean, it's one thing to get the high poly, but then you have to do a little bit of work to do the low poly. So yeah, so the software, it's 123D Catch from Autodesk, and I purchased the premium, which is $99 a year, um, because if you want to use your models commercially, so you want to create this, and maybe I want to sell it on TurboSquid. Um, yeah, no, I definitely have to retopologize this. So yeah, getting the premium is, I think it might be worth it. Um, just, I mean, if you wanna, it's a really nice software, and I think it's worth the money. People pay $5 grand for Macs when they can do all this stuff in Blender. So go figure. But so as far as I'm gonna go ahead and do my low poly here. So I've tried this with, this is my second shoe. So I'm probably you know, there might be better ways to do it, but this is how I've done it for the other one. So what I'm doing is I'm adding a plane, and I'm just gonna try and follow the shoe as far as, you know, all these, and you know, you don't have to go to too many lengths. I think like 4 edge loops might be more than enough. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try and follow the sole of the shoe. And yeah, so I've actually been able to use this uh, photogrammetry to make a card. And even though it's not, the thing with photogrammetry, from what I could tell, is not really meant for um, like straight line assets. So for the card, the biggest thing for me was the texture and the the, the general shape. So guys, excuse me for 1 second. Just gonna cut my mic. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Yeah, so a car. It was actually like a BMW 3 Series. I can actually show it to you if I can find it once I'm done with this. Trying to remember where I might have put it. Let me see. One second. Um, yeah, and I was actually really happy how it turned out, and it's um, it's a good starting point because I think you can branch off into into other cars with this. So okay, so I think I found the car. Let me just quickly download it and I'll show you what I meant. Um, and of course, you don't want to. I'm probably not going to use the you know I'm going to change the headlights a little bit, but the biggest thing for me was um, being able to, and so there you go. That's the car. Let me just quickly fix this missing texture. Um, oh, hopefully I can find the texture. But this is what I meant when yeah, I can't seem to find the texture at the moment. I'll I'll do my best to find it. But this is what I'm always having issues with when I was trying to do cars. It's getting those lines for the fender and then the back end. So being able to have even if it's a high poly and some parts of it are pretty bad as far as the top, um, but being able to have this and just tracing it afterwards, it's helping a lot. So yeah, if I'm able to find hopefully um, find the textures, that would have been great. But I think I might have done it on a different computer, and I can't remember if I emailed it to myself or yeah, I think I might have done that, but I forgot to. Oh no, there we go. Okay, so I found the files. I'll just download these and I'll show you. Um, so yeah, I was always having an issue, and um, even though it's you might I was able to get some the lines kind of okay, but the problem was texturing. So being able to apply a texture of a vehicle onto my low poly was just a nightmare. So in the end, what I did. Okay, so the download is complete. So what I try to do. I asked my friend, hey, can you whenever you get a chance, take some photos of a car. So a friend of his had this BMW, and he uh, he just went around and took photos of it in a parking lot. But let me just move these to here. Sorry for the break in the shoe part, but I just wanted to show you what you can do with this photogrammetry thing. Okay, there we go. So there's the car, and you can see why I said that the textures would be really hard to get properly. And yeah, this is like the first car that we've done, so it's um, we have to do a little bit better photos, or he has to, or we'll see if I try to do some for myself by myself uh, of the top of the car, because if you don't get the proper inputs, they get stretched and it doesn't end up really good. Okay, so and this is no, this is still a high poly. I thought that I I was more ahead of with modeling this, but apparently I wasn't. So basically, what I did, I just started tracing the car. Yeah, so the reflections, and I'm thinking it might have been also because whenever you get these divot points, it could be, the reflections as well. So I can't remember from the photos, but I think the hood and the backside, plus the windows, of course, had some pretty big reflections. But once you get this, just tracing the car, redoing the topology, and you don't have to be, perfectly exact. You're not gonna bake a normal map, but you're gonna bake the color maps onto your low poly. So being able to do that is just so. If I was to do that right now, I can do that real quick. Um, I'll just bake textures, and so there you go. This is done for you. You don't have to place things, or um, and see, that's one side of the car, and then you can just mirror it, and using the mirror you can and sorry that I didn't have screencasts for these, but I didn't do anything too complex. Um, so there you go. All right, so back to our shoe. We have the sole created. It's I'm probably gonna add 2 more loops here just to get these like this to round off the corners a little bit better. And I can slide this back a little bit just to, there we go. So now this vertex can move in a little bit. Now I can just extrude this, and I'm gonna go probably the height of the sole, like all the way to this lip. So from here, I'm just gonna start adjusting these a little bit. And they already look pretty good. Now, because for these, I'm gonna also bake the normals onto my low poly. Yeah, I know baking those textures, really does some wonders. And not having to make the high poly, yeah, that's tremendous help. Because I mean, that's what takes the longest time. And for sculptures, that would be like a nightmare. I mean, not a nightmare, but it would take forever. So, okay, so now I'm gonna continue on with this, and I'm gonna bring this all the way up to there. And let's bring these down a little bit. That's probably a little bit too much. just like so. Bring these up. So this is definitely not going to be perfect, but you know, I'm trying to get it as close as possible within the bounds of the shoe. So so when I do the bake, they the texture set on this a little better, or as best as possible. There we go. I might throw in another edge loop in there, but we'll see. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pull these up like so. And see, this is, I'm also trying to keep this as low poly as possible. I don't want to go overboard. Let's see what will be the best way to do this. Trying to figure out how to do this edge here, which is looking a little painful. I'll just step back for a little bit. Just do another loop here, and then bring it up like that. So if you do GG, it's going to do an edge slide, either a vertice or an edge if you select one. So the shape is getting closer, but I need to get closer. Like that. It's better. So being that it's pretty, yeah, dude. You know, go ahead and enjoy your dinner, and we'll see you soon. So let's see, maybe I'll throw another edge loop in here just to bring these down like this, just like that. And I think we're almost there with the low poly. There we go. Alright, so let's see how this bake turns out. Maybe do bring this in a little more like that. Okay, I'm quite happy how that looks. Alright, let's do, first I'll do an unwrap. And the way I'm going to do this, well, first of all, let's move this to a different layer. Okay, so in here, I'm just going to select the sole, actually. And then do mark the seam. And I'll just move to the UV image editor, hit U, and unwrap. So this is the sole part of the shoe, and this is going to be the top. Yeah, see a vault. So in here, since they fit in pretty good, I'm just going to try and do a control P, see if I can do anything better, but that's pretty much as best as it's going to go. So select first layer and select the second layer, and let's do a bake. I'm gonna do Image, new image. This is gonna be the color, and I'm gonna make it 2K. I'm gonna downsize. I'm gonna downsize it afterwards. So but starting with a higher quality one and moving down, I think might work better. Okay, so I'm gonna bake textures, select it to active, and bake. Alright, so there's our texture, and I'm just gonna go ahead and save this. Nope. I wanna save as image. And let's see, shoes, and this is gonna be a JPEG, and color, and save. Alright, so now I'm gonna do a new image. This is gonna be normal. Also, I'm just gonna keep it at 2K and bake normals. The soul always comes out, I don't know why it comes out in green. It's kind of weird. Oh, and something that I forgot is making the low poly smooth shading. So smooth shaded. So then bake again. Okay, so the normal looks good for the top of the shoe. The bottom one, oh yeah, the bottom one is actually missing. So that's what happens when you I mean, when you do photogrammetry, it only picks what it sees, so it doesn't see the bottom of the shoe. So what I'm gonna have to do for that is, if I just cheat and paint in Photoshop a little bit, not gonna hurt anybody. So I'm gonna save as, and this is gonna be normal. And save. Okay, so now let's go to layer 2. I'm gonna go ahead and add a light just to see how things are looking, and I'm gonna do a hemi. Alright, and this one we just need to add a material because we need that for the export anyways. So I call this shoe 2. And material. And for the textures, I'm just going to pick, I'm actually going to open one. So let's open shoe 2 color. So there we go. It's not the best. I mean, we can probably do a little bit of work on this here because it slopes up a little bit. So I'm just gonna do that. Bring these up like this, and also these ones, just like that. But for an asset that you just throw around in a room just to give it some extra definition, details. What I'm going to do in Photoshop, I'm just going to paint this black, so you don't see what's there. Okay, and one of the things that I was going to do is adjust for this white section here. So just gonna pick these vertices, move them up a little bit, just like so. These ones as well. Not too much, I don't want any stretching to start happening. And for these, I'm gonna scale these in like that. And for this white patch here, I'm just gonna paint it. So to do that, I'm gonna go into texture paint and select clone brush, and let's see how this works. There we go. We'll just paint over this here. I'm gonna try and cover the stretch marks as well. Not that anybody will be able to see those, but you never know. I might just go with lower strength. There we go. So now once you're done painting, and since we're here, let me just adjust the specular level. I'm also gonna start deleting this branding. So just gonna go ahead. You can increase the strength here a little bit and delete this. So what I do, if you hit Control and click, you'll select the area you want to clone from. So there we go. And also I can do a little bit of fixing around here. Kind of like that, and that. Nothing big, but you know, it helps. Alright, so there's that shoe. And the only thing that I needs to left to be done is bringing it down to you know, kind of a reasonable size. I think they're yeah, they're 4 by 4 meters. So I've noticed that something that's about 0.1 in height, and so we'll just do a scale and we'll look at the dimensions, and we want to bring it down to where I would say, let's go there, and I'm keeping an eye on the dimensions, and to a point where y is about 0.2 something. I think that might do, because that gives y 20 centimeters, and so then this is going to be almost, that's probably, I don't know why that's so small. But that looks about right. Alright, so all G just centers it. And so I'm going to just go ahead and add a export node. It's going to be shoe 2. And let me just check. I just want to make sure that these are that's how I'm naming them. Okay, so I call them, yeah, I'm calling them shoe. So shoe 2, it's good. Alright, so we'll go ahead and export these to game. We'll do materials, export to game. And let's see this other shoe. Just go where there's like a bright area. And let's see, we'll do a reload. And shoe 2. There it is. And it's just the right size, I think. I need to move my pivot point. And let's see, and also create the, the right shoe. So let's bring this back. Where are you? There we go. So I'm gonna, this is, it looks like it's the left shoe, and then the right shoe, I'll just do a mirror on the x-axis and do Control N to recalculate normals, and I'll move them around a little bit, rotate around the z-axis so they're not like positioned exactly the same, and same for this one. See, there we go. Okay, so now I want, I think the pivot point is where it's, no, it's, is it? I'll just do the pivot point here. Okay, so do another export, close shoes, already done the materials, and export to game. Okay, so see something that I've made a mistake, and this is biting me in the ass right now, is I did not save my, I don't think I can undo it though. I did not save my my texture, so it's still, a little messed up here in the front, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and fix my mistake. There. So that's that. Yeah, always remember to save image, because you will lose everything. And I do not think there's a way to get it back. That's the problem. Alright, those stitches look almost okay. And I got some a little bit of problems happening here as well. There we go. It's pretty much looking okay, I would say. You know, there's some problems here and there, but nothing too big. There. Okay, save image. Okay, that'll work. Image, save image. Okay, let's do object mode, join the two of these. So there's only one model, and now I'll do export. And let's see. Okay, so we have these shoes. Now let's just do the textures. So go into Photoshop, and I'll bring these the normal and color. So what I'm going to do first is, since this is the bottom of the shoe, and you're not going to be able to see the bottom anyway, so I'm not going to worry too much, but I will try and take off some of this branding here. And thank you, Photoshop, for freezing up on me. I also have Ddo open, so it's Ddo is pretty buggy, as we all know, or at least as I know. Hopefully I'm the only one with problems. Okay, so in here, just going to do the same thing I did for the other part, and with the new Photoshop CC, what you can do a pretty cool thing. You can do a patch tool. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to outline this and try and do it like that. And it has the content aware, which is really neat. And I'm going to do the same thing for this part here. And see, it blends it in really nice. And since we're doing it this way, I'm going to try and fix this area here. See if I can do something about this. And try and sample it from here somewhere. There we go, that's much better. Okay, so that being said, there's a few areas where I think when the photos were taken there were some like brighter spots. So I'm just going to try and burn those. I'm always forgetting where that tool is at. There we go, burn. So let's try and do it like that. And that. Okay. I think that might work. So I know there's some PBR values for leather, and but unfortunately I don't have them handy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and you know, use my best judgment, which is not the way you're supposed to do it. But at least for now, I wasn't really prepared to do it like that. So I'm gonna fix a little bit of some of these things here. Okay, so this is my diffuse. I'm gonna do quickly a levels layer just to bring it down a little bit, like that, just like that. And let's save it as tennis shoe number 2 diff. Save, and now we can bring this down, lower it, and hit OK. And let's apply to this. And let's see, do we have those somewhere around here? Guess we need to go and find them. Tennis shoe 2. There we go. Okay, I think that looks pretty decent. Yeah, I think they actually look better than the other ones, to be honest with you. But yeah, you live and learn. And I think they also have a lower polygon count, or they might be about the same. I think I did them pretty much the same as far as that goes. Okay, and yeah, let's do the normals. So for the normals, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna need the gloss. So I'm gonna create a new. I'm gonna do a new folder and call this gloss. It's easier for me to just copy them from this. So Control Shift U to desaturate, and I'll do levels again. Bring this down, and let's see. I want some areas to be a little brighter, but I think I should have done it a little bit differently with this. So what I'm going to do, since you can see that there's like a slightly unevenness in here, and I should have done it probably for this one as well, but I'm going to do it for the gloss. So I'm going to try and use, I haven't used it much, but I'm going to do the high pass. So it seems like it's bringing these colors a little bit more, you know, they're a little bit more even, like that. And I think, yeah, no, I'm definitely going to use this, because this is, yeah, so see, there you go. That's so much better with the high pass filter. So let's try and save this as the diffuse. My other shoe was pretty much black, so there wasn't too much to do, but there we go. I think, even though it's not noticeable, it works better as far as and you know, just trying to get as proper of a technique as I can. Alright, so let's use this and do now that it's high passed, do my gloss. So I'll do levels, bring this down, and let's see, I want some parts of it to be a little shinier, especially around these, you know, like where the seams are, these are whitish. Okay, there we go, so that's pretty good. and I'm going to do a Control Shift C, and I'm going to go in my normal and channels, add my gloss, and come on. Oh, I need to do Control A, select everything, Control Shift C, and then paste. Okay. So one of the things that you need to, I also need to do is bring in my I need to get the bump map. I have the normal, but I need the bump map. So again, Control Alt, Control Shift C, go to normal, and oh yeah, I need a new layer, and paste. Okay, so for this one, this is going to be my my bump map, and let's do. I'm using Dedo here because I would have used NVIDIA. It's faster, and but it doesn't work with Photoshop CC, so bummer. Okay, but there we go. We have the bump map. I'll just bring this down a little bit. It's a little too strong. And let's see, maybe do contrast a little bigger and do a slightly smaller depth. There we go. Okay. So for this one, this was going to be an overlay. I've noticed that that's the best way to fit these one on top of the other. And having a slight issue here. I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. What I'm gonna do is probably, since there's not a lot of detail in there, I'm gonna try and select. I'm gonna do better probably with the lasso tool. So I'm gonna select this area like so, and this area like so, and I'm gonna copy this from my I'm actually gonna, let's see if I can delete this from here first. I have to duplicate this, and then come on, there. And now it somewhat covers it a little better. You're not going to see like some really horrible thing in there. But I might try and do it so that there. Okay, and it's even a little stronger, so let's see how that looks. So this is going to be my normal, and tennis shoot 2 DDNA. Save it. This is going to be, going to try and see how it looks at 512. And I'll just go ahead and apply this. Oops, that's not the right shoe. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm probably gonna tune down these um, the strength or the contrast, so it's you don't see these as strong. Oh, hey Fabricius. When did you get on? Sorry, I just saw your message. Um, Let me see. Are you still? Is it still buffering for you? Yeah, let me know if it's still loading. Yeah, if you just got on, I've started about an hour ago. 2 p.m. Yeah, let me know if it's buffering so I can turn down my the settings. Yeah, and I think 512 is more than enough for such a small asset, and for something that's not really. There we go. I think that should work just fine. I'm just gonna put it back with the other shoes for now. Right there. Just like that. And you can always make them bigger or smaller if it's for a kid maybe, or for an adult, who knows. But that's pretty much the part that I wanted to record. I'm just going to continue doing the stream, but it's not going to be recorded from now on. It's just going to be probably some basic, level building. I'm probably going to put this, computer together that goes on this desk, and yeah, so it's nothing, that you haven't probably seen before. So I'm gonna stop the recording, but I'm gonna keep streaming.